In Resident Evil 4, there is the
I played
remake
it.
that's out right
Oh,
now.
I didn't play it.
There is a new voice actor for Ada Wong. Her name is Lily Gao. And I had said to Do that I saw scenes of her in the game and saw them compared to the original Resident Evil 4. And I was like,
No good.
I didn't think her voice acting was good. I was like, oh man, I like the original Ada better. Many people are of this opinion, and that's fine. You can certainly say, I believe this actor did a better job than that actor.
But let's take to the Twitter and
Yeah.
burn her down.
But of course, that's not what happened. People went to her social media accounts and were like, you suck. You ruined the character. You ruined the game. You're a horrible actor. Also, as you can probably guess, because it's the internet, they started harassing her because she's a woman and B, Asian. So she got all of that too. So congratulations, internet. You did it. You made her deactivate her Instagram account because of all the hate she was getting. She shared a message with people beforehand being like, basically, why are you doing this to me?
I'm fed up with this world.
And then she left. So did that make the hate stop? Of course not. It continues on. It's horrendous. I don't understand why people can't figure out that it is perfectly fine to have an opinion on something, but I don't know why.
Well, you're allowed to have an opinion if you're old white man.
No. I'm not even talking about. We're not even getting into any of that. Anybody can have an opinion. That is fine. But to take that vitriol and steer it at the person on social media, like why?
That's what I'm saying, though. Like it's only palatable if it's an old white cis het dude.
What are you talking? Palatable to
like
who?
The internet in general is not going to like pile on.
Well, who else stinks? Like probably the new voice for the merchant is probably pissing people off. So like, why aren't we going to Twitter and burning down the male voice actor?
Well, I don't know if he sucks. If he does suck, I'm sure the internet would let him know it. But I think you're being too generous to the internet right now. They'll hate on anybody. Yeah, but the fact that she's a woman and Asian makes her get all kinds of worse hate.
Well, I guess it's more
the internet's ever been like
to like
yes.
it, like there's more that they can say.
Yeah. The internet's ever been like, I hate what this guy did in this role or this girl did in their role, and stopped because they're not Asian or they're not white. They still get hate. It's just if you are those things, you get worse hate because of it. But yeah, again, you can have very strong opinions. You could think this actor did a bad job. That's completely fine. Talk about that with your friends. Talk about that with your inner circle. Or if you feel so compelled to really talk about it,
spew hate in private.
Do so in a constructive way, in constructive criticism. There's nothing wrong with constructive criticism. Make a video about why you think the person didn't do a good job, but don't make it an attack on them, and don't use that as a reason to attack them. Critique it in a way that's meaningful and can potentially steer conversation in a good direction. I'm not saying anyone isn't beyond being critiqued. Anyone can be critiqued, but be constructive and
like this, like Alternate Liz suggests. I hate this person because they have doo-doo opinions.
There you go.
That's
perfect.
Constructive.
So yeah, I don't want this to think like this is. I don't want people to make this out like I'm being. All of this is cancel culture or anything like that. Constructive criticism is important. It helps people grow. You can say things and explain how you feel, just like we did last week with the Mario movie. I liked it more than other people here. Other people here liked it more or less than other people on the podcast. We had a great 40+ minute conversation about it where we were constructive with our criticism and we weren't mean, rude, angry, or derogatory towards anybody, because there was an important conversation to be had with nuance about everything that happened. And that's what we did.
You know what I think it kind of boils down to is taking responsibility for your own feelings and thoughts and opinions and not making it the responsibility of the movie or the makers of the movie, right? It's like, my experience with the movie was this, but I could see how other people may have had a different experience. It's like keeping it centered on like, the only thing I know for sure is what I experienced, and I can talk about that. And like, you can't tell me how I feel about something. You may disagree with me. You may, but I don't want to categorically say it's the movie. Like, this was my experience with the movie.
Yeah.
I think people
Yeah.
like do that too much with everything. Like,
Well, I think it happens even more when it's something that's already established, like with this or the Mario movie. Like you have a character that's established in a certain way where one person has been associated with that role for decades, and then somebody else comes in and takes it on. And they're going to get a higher level of, they're going to be put under the microscope a lot more because they're being compared to someone that has been cemented as that role. So there's a whole different layer there of criticism and vitriol that comes from that criticism. So it's like I said, it's magnified. It's extra tough for those people. And I understand the passion of those things because if you're very passionate about Resident Evil and Ada Wong in particular, you see her in a certain way, you view her personality in a certain way, you hear the voice in a certain way, and then somebody comes in and does a different take. Again, I don't like the take that this actor does, but I don't think the actor should die. And I'm not telling them they're bad because they're a woman
Right.
and they're Asian. And I don't feel the need to talk to them at all. Like, there's been so many things that I've been so livid about as far as acting goes in a game or a movie or a TV show, but not once have I ever spewed hate towards them directly, like on
Remember me?
Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or Reddit or whatever. Like, it shows like there's something wrong there. I know people feel superior when they do that. Like it makes those people feel good, which is sad. And it's not something that is like a new phenomenon. This has been around for hundreds of years. This
but
is
how does
something.
that translate? Like, so let's say you're a person who loves to like spew hate on Twitter, right? So how does that translate to I go out to dinner with a bunch of people and we're talking about like our lives or our, you know, whatever, we just saw a movie or how are things with this or whatever, you know, you do in civilized conversation when you're with people. I mean, we talk about poop and farts, you know, other people talk
90%
about,
of the time.
right? But like, how does that translate into your like out to dinner conversation? Like, do you, if you're that person, are you sitting at the table going, well, I threatened to kill a voice actor on Twitter?
No.
Like, so like,
online is their fully unfiltered, I would say, true self,
but
because they're anonymous and they know there's not going to be any repercussions and they just let it out because they're so angry or upset about these things that they need a place to vent it, and rather than trying to come to understand why they feel these things,
are they, or do they just like being shovel disturbers? Like, do they think it's like fun? You know, we know people like that who like think it's funny to like start stuff.
Yes,
and
we
like,
know people who think it's funny to start stuff, but do we know people who think it's funny to the degree that they go on Twitter and tell this actress, "You're stupid, you're a woman,
no.
you're Asian, you suck"? So it's different. There are people who are crap disturbers, certainly, but they stir the pot and then watch it overboil. These people are the ones who are out there making it happen. There's a difference between those people. Yeah, the people you're talking about, they're, I would guess, for the most part, they're what you would call quote unquote normal people. They're in conversations where they don't do those things and they don't say those things. What am I thinking? There's a perfect example.
So is that better that they're doing it online? Well,
no,
but they're not like out doing it to people in public. Like they're like online.
I'm calling me crazy, but I don't think being online racist is better than being in-person racist.
No, I guess not.
What am I thinking of? There was someone I can see it in my mind. It was, I don't know if it was a TV show or a movie, but
Did you
someone
dream it?
Was it it was a Swarm, where someone was saying horrible stuff online, but in person they didn't seem like a horrible person.
Right. Yeah.
I don't want to spoil things because you haven't watched it.
Yeah, that's a
but
good
that's
example.
what it was. You saw someone who said mean things online, and then that person is met. You see that person in person rather than their online comments, and they seem to be a pretty nice person,
like normal person too, like, and not like a teenager or not like a like that. I mean, it's just a TV show, but like that made me think, because usually when I read stuff like this on the internet, I'm like, oh, some 13-year-old's really letting it loose. But like, you never know. I mean, it could be some real sad older person that's, you know, stuck in a way worse state. because at that point it's harder to change.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. I would also like to I take some comfort, honestly, in thinking that it is mostly people growing up. So younger kids and teens that go through that, because we all did stuff like that when we were kids. We did things we regret. I'm not saying we were all racist or anything, but you all did things that you regret now, or you look back on and you're like, oh, how could I do that? How could I have done that? How could I have said that? But unfortunately, I think in today's age, it's a decent amount of people who are just like that.
And fan culture is a serious thing. It's been more and more serious recently. Like, don't upset the fans with anything. Give them new stuff. They want new stuff, but they don't want it the way you gave it to them. So now you're done on Twitter or whatever. So so like that, coupled with the internet, and then just kids growing up with the internet. We were lucky enough to like be on the cusp where we had like pre-internet times as a human, and then we got the cyborg times. Now it's just all like mechanical
everything
robot
is
times.
Directly influenced to a degree that it's almost unimaginable now, because whenever you create anything and put it out in the world, it is instant feedback. Like, you're going to get the best, the worst. It's just a fire hose of everything. No matter what you do or say, people are going to go at it. So, and it might be a great passionate group, or it might be a passionate group in the other direction. So yeah, there's nothing, there's no like sitting and thinking about things. There's no contemplating things. There's no trying to understand where things are coming from. It's just, I saw this, I hate it. And if I go online, I know there's going to be thousands of people who think the same thing, and go, 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 go. That's it. So,
hey, what happened?
I feel horrible for this actress. The voice actor who played Leon in this game came to their defense, which was very nice. And he said he reached out to her, Lily, and was like, I know, I'm paraphrasing,
it's a
but
man's
it's like,
world, is what he said.
I'm paraphrasing, but he was like, I know this sucks, but this is what it is. Please don't let these people get to you. Like, this is when we do these things, this is what happens. And it's not unexpected. It doesn't make it suck any less, but
that's
how it
tough.
is.
That's
So,
gotta be tough,
like, yeah, because think about being like an actor in anything before internet times. You would read about it in a newspaper or a magazine, but largely you would go about your day. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like, oh, poor actors and actresses. I'm not saying that, but it does suck to a degree, because now it's like that 24/7 feed of people telling you should die because you played Ada Wong.
It does psychological damage to people. It's a
bad.
real thing.
And it's not reserved just for famous people either. Like, we have, as a school, like, we have a responsibility to deal with any kind of harassment, intimidation, or bullying that happens even outside of school. And we get a ton of reports from like social media. Like, it's what was the one a bunch of years back that was like, you made a music video.
Hold on one second. By the way, I want to say it's raining here. If you hear that, I apologize. Also, if our internet poops out, it's going to be because of the weather. I made a video, a music video.
It was an app on the phone where you made like a little.
Are you saying you as in the collective
people?
You?
Yes, okay. Where people could make like a quick little. It was music.
Vine?
No.
Musically?
Yeah, maybe it was Musically.
Musically's still around.
Anyway, we had like a huge issue with that when I was teaching 5th grade. The kids were like bullying each other on these apps, and like parents weren't able to monitor it. It's just horrible.
Well, the answer is ban TikTok, of course.
Of course. And we had like one assembly that was like, don't get Snapchat because you're online forever. And like the kids were all just like, this is awful. Like, no.
Yeah, right. Here's a class on how to behave online from people who barely know what the internet is.
Right. So I've got a kid right now in my class who's really into TikTok. And so I like blow his mind on the reg, because he'll be like singing like a song from TikTok, and I'll like fill it in.
Nice.
And he's like, huh? And I'm like, yes, I am a human.
Yeah, I've made the conscious effort to not do what most old people do and stay up to date on things rather than just sink into the abyss of the years gone by.
But also I have to be like, you're watching these like with your parents, right? Like, you're not old enough to be like,
oh yeah, I'm sure the parents are all gathering around to watch TikToks with their kids. Definitely.
I mean, so look, that's like, I have to say that because I'm a responsible adult in this child's life that has to be like, you really shouldn't be looking at these things by yourself. Like,
So that's that. This poor actor, actress. I still don't know which you are supposed to say. I like saying actor as a general term.
I think you stick with
but I
actor.
think some people feel slighted by that. So I don't know.
Well, yeah,
But
I mean,
anyway.
I guess if you're like, if you know that the person has like a firm, like
Yes.
gender and like,
Yeah.
you know, clearly defines themselves as one gender or
Thespian
another.
is what
Ooh.
Nicolas Cage
Lily
prefers to be
Gao,
called.
if this ever makes it back to you, we are with you. We have felt the backlash of the internet before, and
Well,
I
Ramit
have felt
really,
it very recently.
yeah, Ramit feels it.
So we are with you, and we feel sorry that you're going through this, but tomorrow is another day. Do not give up.